Hello everyone, it's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, I got a haircut. Instagram saw it first. Today I'm going to be talking about the witch's pyramid, or sometimes I've also seen it called the witch's creed. Thank you so much to my patrons over on Patreon for voting for this topic. If you'd like to join me on Patreon and get all kinds of exclusive patron-only content and perks, the link for that will be in the description below. So I first read about the witch's pyramid in a book by Dorothy Morrison called Witchcraft, A Witch's Book of Shadows. I have had this book for a really long time. I think I've had this book since I was a teen, first learning about Wicca. And I held on to it for nostalgia reasons, but it's also, I think, a really good primer and introduction to some different concepts within witchcraft and Wicca. I'll leave a link to where you can find it in the description below as well. So in The Craft, in Dorothy Morrison's book, she has it written as the witch's creed, and it goes like this: to know, to dare, to will, to keep silent. These are the 4 words of the magus. In order to dare, we must know. In order to will, we must dare. We must will to possess empire. To reign, we must be silent. And then she goes on to explain or describe the differences between to know, to will, to dare, and to be silent. And no matter what your interpretation of these 4 things are, they're really good things to think about. So in today's video, I want to go through each one and give my sort of interpretation on them. Remember, as I go through these, that these are going to be my interpretations. Yours may be different depending on your experiences and the research that you do and the tradition and the path that you follow. So to know means for me to know things, to seek knowledge both physically here in our physical world, as well as spiritually and religiously and magically. Encompassed within this, it's important for me to know good information from bad information, good sources from bad sources, and how to go about weeding through different sources so that you can know better. So besides the accumulation of knowledge, you know, your deities, your folklore, your history, the why, I also think that to know means to know yourself. Know what your foundation is built upon within your path so that you can grow from there. Because if your foundation is shaky and you don't really understand why you're doing what you're doing, or why or what you believe, everything that's built up around that is also going to be unstable. I think it's important to know yourself and the different things that you believe and why you believe them in order to progress further along your path. This leads into also knowing your truths, knowing why you believe what you believe, where you're getting your information from, and why you prefer one source over the other. To know basically means to know everything that you can know about yourself and your path, and to constantly be seeking more knowledge and different perspectives so that you have a well-rounded foundation and a well-rounded group of sources to pull on that information from, so you have a better perspective of not only your reality, but the realities of the community and other witches and people around you. To dare, I go along the lines with Dorothy Morrison for this one. Dorothy Morrison says that part of daring is being able to overcome our outdated belief systems and our ignorance. We're not infallible. Everyone has things that they don't know. Everyone has things that they are unfamiliar with that maybe they sometimes speak on anyway because they think they know. We've all done it, myself included. The first thing that I put with to dare is to dare to dive into the unknown. Dare to go there and dig deep into things that you know nothing about. Dare to learn more. Dare to explore and figure things out for yourself, and also dare to talk to other people in the community. You can't do it all by yourself. So to dare basically means for me to have the courage to step forward and look into things that maybe I'm kind of iffy about and that maybe I'm a little apprehensive of, and to have the courage to step into the community and make friends and speak with people that I probably would not otherwise because of my social anxiety, but also because it can be scary to approach other people and make friends. There are 3 other things that I put in with dare, and they are dare to question, dare to change, and dare to be yourself. The first one, dare to question, is the foundation of a lot of things that I do. Because my favorite question, and I just recently posted about this on Twitter, my favorite question is why? Why do we do things the way we do them? Why do I believe this? Why is red associated with love? Dare to question the things that you're told, the things that you believe, and the things that you read. It's important to be able to be critically objective about these sorts of things and not really get too emotionally invested, I think. That didn't really come out right. When you can question things, I think that it leads to stronger answers and therefore a stronger foundation. And I don't mean question other people specifically and say, oh my God, why do you do that? Ask questions, sure, but for the sake of understanding and furthering your knowledge, not for the sake of being condescending or judgmental. Dare to change is exactly that. When you're presented with new information, or when you're told that you're wrong, or when things around you are changing, I feel like it's our natural inclination to become like the hermit and just go within yourself and resist that change as much as you can. But when you're presented with new information that sort of shakes up everything that you know, we need to be able to take that in and adjust our perspective. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your practice based on new experiences and new information that you have received. My light's moving. Okay then. The last one there, dare to be yourself, is one that a lot of us struggle with, I think, especially in the age of social media and digital content absolutely everywhere that's constantly bombarding us with aesthetically pleasing photographs and things that tell us you need to do it this way, or if you're doing it this way, you're doing it wrong. I think being ourselves is important, and it leads me into the next one where we talk about will. If you can't be your authentic self, I think that's something that you probably should work on. And I say that as someone who is constantly evaluating what it means for me to be an authentic person and to be authentic to myself and what I believe and what I enjoy and the things that I'm willing to talk about and willing to do. If we can't be ourselves, then what's the point? Who are you going to be? Are you going to have a facade of someone that you think everybody else wants to see? Because that's not living authentically, and that sets everybody up for failure and disappointment. So dare to question, dare to change, and dare to be yourself. My stomach will not stop growling. I'm sorry if you can hear it in the microphone, but I'm hungry. To will is part of magic. It's part of witchcraft. It's the part that gets things done, that changes things. And for this one, I think it's important to be able to know exactly what you want. Because if, I've said this before, if you don't know what you want, how do you expect to get it with witchcraft? If your intentions are unclear, nothing's going to happen. Or something might happen, but it's not going to be what you want. For me, building that will is cultivating the desire to bring things into the world that I want or need for myself and for others. I can casually say, oh, I'd like to have $5. There is a want behind that statement, but there is no desire and there is no will to change anything and to make that statement come true, because it's just a statement. The will is the part of yourself that you put behind that statement to make things happen. Without will and without that desire to change things, or that desire to bring something into your life or get rid of it, I think magic is useless, because magic works based on your intention and your will and the energy that you put behind it. Now, I could be completely misinterpreting that one, but that's me. Now, the last one, to keep silent, is important in many different ways, I think. And it's one that I think more people, whether you are Wiccan or follow a specific tradition or not, it's one that I think more people should take into consideration. To keep silent encompasses the ideas of knowing when to speak, but also knowing when to listen and knowing when to not say anything. Conversations are an exchange of energy. Me sitting here talking to you, even though technically I'm talking to a camera and you're going to watch it later, this is an energy exchange. And there are some things I will talk about and some things I won't talk about, because I don't want to give my energy to that conversation because it's not productive for me, or because I know nothing about the subject and I'd rather let someone who's more knowledgeable speak on it than myself. One of the main things with this last one, to keep silent, is that the entire world doesn't need to know the spells that you're doing. When you post your spell work online, your active spell work, things that you are actively bringing into your life, you are opening up that energy to be interpreted by other people or even to be tampered with, and not necessarily intentionally. Some people going through this energy exchange through social media and liking posts and commenting, they may not realize that things are happening, that, you know, maybe they're looking on your spell work with envy, and that can really affect the energy of your work. I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to post images or videos or whatever of your spells. Maybe you're doing tutorials, or maybe you're just really proud of it, or you really like the way it looks. That's okay. To each their own. For me personally, most of my spell work is private, and it's private for a reason, because that is my energy and what I'm trying to bring into the world, and I don't want anybody messing with it, whether intentionally or not. This leads me into the next thing, is that not everything that you do as far as witchcraft or your religious practice goes needs to be on the internet 24/7. There are parts of my practice that I don't share because they're personal to me, or because I just don't want to share them, and that's okay. Religious practice is between me and the gods, between me and whoever I'm working with in that moment. Same thing goes with most of my witchcraft. It's between me and if I'm petitioning a deity or if I'm working energy, that's for me. It's okay to keep parts of your practice private, and you don't owe anyone an explanation for why you choose to do that. On the other side, you also don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing to share absolutely everything. To each their own. For me, again, some things are better left private and personal. The last one that I have to go with to keep silent is to choose your battles and your arguments and your conversations wisely. And don't argue for the sake of arguing. Don't be that person who has to have the last word, because that really reflects back on you. Being able to keep silent means that you are capable of sitting back and letting someone else do the talking, and you are then better equipped to listen in order to understand instead of listening to react or respond. You're not going to know everything. You shouldn't be required or expected to know everything or to learn everything. That's absolutely impossible and unrealistic. When you can objectively sit back and listen to someone else, or be quiet and listen to the voices of your gods, I think you will probably progress further along in your path, wherever that path may take you. So with to be silent, remember that conversations, whatever you share, who you talk to, the arguments that you get into, those are all energy exchanges. So be careful who you're exchanging that energy with, and sometimes it's better to just keep your mouth closed. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my personal interpretations of the witch's pyramid: to know, to will, to dare. I always say that backwards. To know, to dare, to will, and to be silent. Let me know in the comments below if you interpret it differently, if you follow any of these, or if you have any other thoughts or comments about it. I'd love to hear from you and maybe have sort of a discussion on what it means to you versus what it means to me. Don't forget to check the links in the description to where you can find a link to this book if you would like to read more of Dorothy Morrison's work. I will also try to find some links that have other sources on the witch's pyramid so that you can peruse it at your leisure. And I will see you in my next video.